Hello friends, long time no see. I have been on a little bit of a break, but we will get to that in just a minute. First, I want to let you know that this video is a Q&A. I usually do one of these about once a year just to try to get questions if people have them for me answered so that I don't have to keep repeating them in the comment section. So I am gonna answer anything that's like a new question to me. If you didn't get your question answered, it's probably because it's in a previous video. I will link the playlist of Q&A videos like here and also down below for you in the description section so that you can look through the other Q&A videos I have done, and that should help answer all your questions. A few people asked, like, you know, my sewing origin story, etc, etc. Those have all been answered before, so I'll just leave that there instead of like boring everyone with the answer again. My grandma is the answer. Anyway, so I asked on Patreon, I asked on Instagram, and I asked here on YouTube if anybody had any burning questions. I got a ton of questions. Some of them are very light and fun and airy, and some of them are really weirdly serious. I'm gonna try to answer as many as I can here today for you, so hopefully that all goes well. We do have a bunch of questions that were asked like repeatedly, so I'll probably just like bunch those into one kind of glommy question. So if you hear an answer to a question that's kind of similar to yours but it's not the exact wording, it's probably because I just like made a ball of question goo and then answered that. Okay, I have a phone with me to answer some of the questions that came through on Instagram. I have a computer for YouTube and Patreon questions, so if you see me looking down at that reading off questions, that's what that's about. I also have a cozy cup in my Buffy the Vampire Slayer mug of hot cocoa that my husband made me that I am so grateful for. Okay, many people ask me like, how are you? What's up? Where are you? Where have you been? What's going on? Why are you not posting things? Etc, etc. So I just took a little break. I have been on this channel for 4 years now. Is that right? 2019, 2020, 21, 4 years now. The anniversary is on the 3rd of January, which is like right before my birthday, so just right about 4 years. So I have been taking a little break. I had, as you know, quite a hectic fall. Like, you've all seen the video about Keanu probably. If not, it is linked above and below for you as well. One of my cats, like my little buddy cat, passed on very suddenly, so that was really hard. And then I immediately went into panic mode for my trip, which I didn't even know I was gonna get to go on, and then that ended up in a disaster with COVID. So I've had a bunch of like kind of hard setbacks. So when I got back, I sort of just decided to veg and like be like, it's fine if I just take some time for myself. So that is what I've been doing. And then the holiday madness started. And you know how that is. Like, I had plans like every night with people for a couple weeks. I threw a big party at my house. I deep cleaned my house. At least the bottom floor has been like very deep cleaned. Like, I moved all the furniture and polished the floors and cleaned the baseboards and cleaned all the, you know, all that stuff. Like, the screens came off the windows cleaning. So that's been a thing that's been taking up a lot of my time and energy, and it's something that was like niggling at my brain really bad. So I'm really happy that that's done, and I feel much cleaner. Although you couldn't tell because I have like super puffy eyes. I've been having crazy allergies this week, and I'm like, is it all the dust I kicked up? I don't know. Anyway, I just needed a break to grieve my cat. Like, there's been a lot of that going on. There's been a lot of like kind of grieving the trip because I only really got to go on half of it, and the cruise not very much at all. I spent all summer, you know, making clothes and planning for and stressing out about that cruise, and then to just not participate in it was like, you know, I was pretty chill about it, and Morgan was a great roommate, and I had a good time with her in the room and stuff, but like that was a big blow. So I've just been hanging out, letting my brain munch on things. It's been fun. Like, it's been good. Also, I have to go back to work very soon. And frankly, I kept lying to myself and saying that I was off of work for the last 3 years, but I kind of haven't been, because I've been making these videos and they are like a full-time job. So I decided it was okay for me to just like not for a little while, so I've been not. So I hope you guys are all cool with that. Everything's gonna go back to normal very soon. The start of the new year always resets everything, so don't worry, I'm still around. I'm still gonna be around. I'm not quitting YouTube or anything. I'm just taking a little brain break because I need one. I might go a little bit less than I have been, just to give myself more time before I find my job to like actually enjoy just laying in my bed. Because that's something I love to do. I have a video game I want to finish, so you know, stuff like that. So yeah, Anyway, we are a-okay. Everything's fine over here. Just taking a break to let my body and my mind absorb all the things that happened, prepare for the holidays, prepare for a new year, refresh my soul, get a little rest, just sleep all day sometimes. It was great. So that's what's been happening. Another question that got brought up a few times was that I do a lot of traveling. It's one of my other like main hobbies. A few people actually asked me what my favorite vacation ever was. That's a really hard question. It's like picking your favorite child. You know, I had one vacation where it was a trip, not a vacation. Like I was tired when I got back from this, but we went to South America for 6 weeks and Antarctica for 11, 12 days of that. So like you kind of can't beat that. South America is amazing. It is beautiful. On that one we went to Argentina, Uruguay, Chile, and Bolivia. People sleep on South America a lot. Like it's just like not brought up as like a vacation spot or somewhere to go for traveling or whatever. You just don't hear about it a lot. And I kind of like don't want to say anything publicly about it because I want to keep it that way because it's so awesome when you go, because it's not touristy in any way. Everything is still sort of like natural and wild, and they have glaciers and glacier water lakes and giant mountain ranges and jungles and big deserts, like the driest deserts in the world, and just like the people are really great, the food is really great, everything about it was really great. We had a great time. I've never been somewhere with so little regulation and it was awesome. Obviously Antarctica is incomparable. Like there is nothing else like that on the planet. I went to Antarctica and then like probably 3 months later I went to Iceland, and and it was like, you should do the opposite of that. Go to Iceland first because Iceland is beautiful. It is amazing. It is a wonderful country. The people there are a riot, and the scenery is just next level. It's so cool. But like once you've been to Antarctica, Iceland is like, oh, that's cute. Yeah. So, because it's just like the same kind of stuff, but just like so much bigger and so much more wildlife. And we went on a Russian research vessel, so we had an ornithologist, a glaciologist, a couple of marine biologists, just like all these scientists with us to explain what was going on and what these animals were and how the glaciers work, and you know, the birds and what was going on with them and stuff like that. So it was just amazing. Hands down, that trip was amazing. I recommend either or both places. Like if you're already in Tierra del Fuego, you should just go to Antarctica because like at that point you've traveled literally to the end of the earth. So you might as well just like skip over that little sea there and go see 1 million penguins. Like literally so many penguins. But also like whales and birds and seals and sea lions. It was great. It was so cool. Like do that. The next one is one of my favorites. It was any advice on moving into a new sewing room. So aside, I watch a lot of Adam Savage's videos on his channel Tested on YouTube, and I realized a long time ago that I watched them because he creates videos in the same way that I do. Like he's making stuff, he's frequently hand holding the camera and doing what he needs to do to show what he's making and stuff, and does a lot of time lapses and whatever. It's basically my channel. I'm just sewing and he is building things. So, but they're very similar. And when someone asked him about moving into their first shop, he gave the same answer I would give, which is it's a moving target. The thing that you should keep in mind the most is that your maker space, whatever space that is, if it's a craft room, if it's a sewing room, if it's a whatever you have, like if you have a space, if you have a door, whatever, it's always in motion. You shouldn't have a goal with the end game in mind, because what your end game is not what your end game is going to be 3 years from now. Like you're going to probably be doing things in a different way, or have different things you want to work on, or different, I don't know. It's just so hard to explain this to people, but it's just like your room is like you. It is always evolving, always building, always changing, and it should change a lot, and it should change with your needs. So like if there's stuff in your room you're not using, your crafter space, get rid of it. Like get it out of that room, because you probably want more space. And if there's stuff you need, you're going to want to have room to put that stuff in there if you can have it, if you can afford it. Also, get the things for your new makerspace you absolutely know you need, and then just wait and see how that evolves. Like don't just blow all your money and all your space and all your energy on stuff like that you think would be cool, or you've seen other people have, or whatever, because that's not always what you're going to want or what you're going to need, right? So for example, when I moved in here, I knew I needed a bookcase, I needed a sewing table, and I needed a crafting table. and I wanted that to be standing. I wanted to be able to stand at it. I wanted to have a stool that went under, and I wanted it to have a lot of storage. And that's all I put in here. I didn't stock the closet yet. I didn't stock my drawers yet. I did stock the bookcase, obviously, although that's gotten a lot more stocked. I'm getting to the point where it's too stocked at this point. So just know in your heart that it's always going to move and change. So don't like have an expectation of what it should be. I know it's really hard to like not want that like Instagram perfect room. Don't worry about that. Make your room the way you need to make your room for right now, and let your room change when your room needs to change, is my advice. Next up, there were a lot of questions about what fabrics I hate. You guys want me to like be hateful towards something, which I am happy to do for you. Like silk charmeuse, don't like it. Someone asked me what fabrics are rude. Silk charmeuse is rude. Rude. Just rude. It slips, it slides, it moves, it like it, there are ways to deal with it. I did deal with it when I was making those shirts. It happened, it was fine. It's rude. I don't like silky fabrics. That is what I have to say. I don't like working with them. They're awesome to wear though. So occasionally I will work with them because sometimes you gotta do things you don't like doing, right? And also sometimes it's worth doing stuff you don't like to do because you're gonna get better at doing it, and maybe you will stop hating it so much, right? Like, I mean, that's why I hand sew. I started this channel and I hated hand sewing. There is a hand sewing question later. I hated it. And now I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Like, it's a thing I will do, and I've gotten better at it. I've gotten a little bit faster, but not much. I've just like come to a sense of, yes, this is better for this thing, so I need to learn how to do it in a way that is satisfactory for me and also lets me get my things done. So I would say there are fabrics that I hate, but I will occasionally work with them because it's better for like my journey as a maker to know how to work with these fabrics, even though I don't want to. If you could do a dream project, what skill would you most like to learn to get that project completed? So I mean, there are plenty of skills I would like to learn that have to do with dream projects that have nothing to do with sewing. So I'm going to assume that you mean sewing here. And I'm going to say I would like to learn tailoring better. Luckily, I learned from my grandmother, like I said, who taught tailoring in college. Like, she taught tailors how to tailor. People who were majoring in home ec, but also people who were going off into like sewing careers, because, you know, back in the 60s and 70s, they didn't have specific like designer classes. You just took sewing classes in your home ec. So I do have some tailoring skills because my grandmother was a very strict teacher. Like, sewing with grandma was not always fun, but I would like to learn how to do it much better. Like, I would like those things that you do while you're tailor to just be in my brain, and for me not to have to question everything I'm doing, like, am I pad stitching correctly? You know, I would like to. So basically I need to practice tailoring is what I'm saying. And what would that dream project be, I guess, is a good question. I don't know, but I do want to make a coat someday, so, you know, it's a dream project. There was a lot of questions about dream projects, so maybe I should just answer that. Many people were like, what is your dream project? If you have a dream project, why haven't you done it yet? Etc., etc. So the answer is I have a lot of dream projects. I don't have the one. Like, anything. Like, so many fashion plates, Lady Tremaine's dresses, all of them from the Cinderella live action, Wednesday's black dress from the new Wednesday TV show, anything from Dangerous Liaisons, anything from the Buccaneers, like, just, I have so many things. So I just don't think of it as a dream project. I sort of just think of it as my dream wardrobe. The reason I haven't done them yet, I don't know. Probably not skill-based. Like, I mean, there are skills I would need to learn to do some of these things, but I'm not afraid of learning new skills or anything like that, so that's not really the issue. I think it's probably just that, like, I have too many other things I'm doing. Like, there are dream projects on this board, like 398 bustle dresses is still on the board. I think it's 97. No, it is 98 now. So, you know, some of those dream projects are those bustle dresses, so they're not on the board. They're just a matter of time. I am a slow sewer. That is just a fact of life that has happened to me. I'm not a quick person, probably because I got taught by a tailor to do all the things in the slow and right way. I sew very slowly, so I just don't have time to do all the things that I've ever wanted to make. I have all these friends who are cosplayers and they're like, we can get this done in 3 days, and I'm like, oh my god, you're using a glue gun, okay. So I feel like it's time-based, like I just haven't had time to do those things yet, or I've had other things, like I had a million things I wanted to get done this year and then I decided to go on this trip, so drop everything and go do that stuff. Or a friend pops in with like, hey, we're gonna do this thing, do you want to add into this group? Like, yeah, of course I want to add into that group. I'm a yes person, I just say yes to everything. But that means that like my time just gets like sucked away from me, and especially since I am a person who usually does have a job, that makes it even worse, because I don't have all day and all night every day to work on that stuff. I also, like I said, have other hobbies that I like to do, and I spend time with my friends who are muggles and don't do costuming, so we do a whole bunch of other stuff, like, you know, concerts and theater performances, etc., parties, whatever. So there's not all the time in the world to do all these things. So that's why I haven't worked on any of my dream projects, but pretty much, you know, a lot of the things I do are my dream projects, and that's why I'm doing them on this channel, right? Everything I do is a dream project. Like, I think everything is great. I don't have anything specific though. Like, there's not one single thing that I'm like, that's the one. Yeah, I don't have a Worth gown. As you all know, I don't think Worth is, I think he's kind of overrated. I don't love those dresses, actually. There's a couple that are really beautiful. I will give it that. Like that green one, that the Lady Tremaine jacket thing is the green and black filigree one. Oh, that's beautiful. But there's not, I just don't have one dress that I think is amazing. So yeah. What motivates you to keep going on a project when you want to give up? Funnily enough, it's probably this channel. Like, I'm not a quitter. I am 100%er. I will say that. Like, I like finishing things. It is in my nature to want to finish a project that I'm starting. So that is a thing that factors into it. But also, I'm usually filming a video and I want to finish that video, and I don't want to be like, I quit in the middle of this. Here's my video. Because that's kind of lame. There have been things I have quit. Like, that has happened, and I have explained on this channel why I've quit the thing and just been like, we're done, we're not doing this anymore. And there are, you know, several reasons that I would quit things, so it's not like I don't give up ever. The motivation for me is also very much so that I believe in practice, and I believe in finishing things for the sake of finishing them and getting the experience of finishing them, so that you know in the future, like, nothing you do is a waste. So even if I'm gonna finish something that I'm like, I'm not gonna wear that, like that copper penny shirt. I should have dropped that. I should have, but no, I finished it because now I know how to deal with that kind of fabric. And it was really important for me to just keep going, understand that I'm probably never gonna wear this shirt. It's fine. It's okay if I don't do that. The fabric is now already wasted because I'm not gonna, I hate the fabric. I hated that fabric, so I'm not just not going to use it. So it's gonna go somewhere else. Somehow it will get maybe turned into cabbage. It will, I don't know. Something will happen to it, but it is not gonna be a shirt for me. So I might as well finish the shirt and learn the lessons that I need to take from this fabric rather than just give up. So there are a bunch of things that motivate me to do that. But I feel like it's really important also not to just get 20% into something, realize it's slightly hard, and then quit. Like, that's not who I am as a person. Like, when things get hard, I don't bail out. Things get stupid, I bail out. And things have gotten stupid before. Like, there's been times when I am just like, no, this is not worth my effort. But I do believe that there's a lesson in almost everything we do, even if it isn't going to give us the end goal that we were trying to achieve. Okay, we have a lot of questions about creativity, what sparks creativity, how do I get ideas like the Victorian Iron Man and the train dress. There's another question over here that is, how do you draw inspiration and keep organized throughout the process? What sparks your creativity? How do you keep the momentum going, etc., etc., etc. What sparks my creativity is usually discussions with friends, seeing art. That's why I'm always like looking at art, going to art exhibits, going to clothing exhibits. Like, I try to take you guys with me to a lot of those things and show them to you too, because I'm trying to help you get inspiration as well. I frequently am looking through these books, just that I don't even read them, I just look at the pictures. Even the books that are telling you how to sew and like what the patterns are doing and stuff like that are endlessly inspirational if you just look at them. The entire wall behind you is pictures of bustle dresses, like inserts from old magazines and stuff. And I leave them there as like a reminder, like, hey, you want to make that dress, you think that thing is cool, you think that thing is cool, just to like spark the creativity kind of constantly. The reason I do mashup things a lot is because I want costumes that do double duty, because I do historical costuming and I do cosplay stuff, and it's kind of easier if I can have one costume that I can do both things with. Like, that makes, you know, it work harder for me. There was another question somewhere about, like, do people wear their costumes more than once? Most people in the costuming world don't. I will give you that. Especially, like, if you are a person of means, like if you have a lot of money, you probably aren't gonna wear your costume more than once or twice. And I think that's a crying shame. So I wear my costumes as many times as I can, and I keep them to wear them as many times as I can until I know I'm not going to wear them again. I'm trying to find a costume constantly, like Victorian Iron Man, for example, like that was brought up. So I could wear that to a convention like Dragon Con. I also can take off the center stomacher and change out the hat thing, and it turns just into a regular bustle dress. Like, you would never know that it was an Iron Man situation. It's red and gold, it's completely time appropriate, it's all made with period like techniques and instructions and stuff. So there's no reason that I shouldn't have my costumes be able to go to both places and be able to wear them more often. I don't have time to make more costumes, frankly, so I want to have ones that do double duty. And that kind of inspires both sides of it, right? So like if I say, okay, I want to do another bustle dress and I want to pick this character to make that bustle dress reflect, instant inspiration, right? Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, you could have just a draw bag of names of characters that you like, pull one out, a draw bag of time periods, pull one out, and there you go, you're done. Like, you have your assignment. And those things should inspire each other a lot, very easily in your mind. So that's essentially how I do this. I do have straight cosplays that I only can wear to cosplay conventions and stuff, and that kind of stinks. And I have stuff that's straight historical and I can't do a lot about that, and that also kind of stinks. So I really like doing the mashups. That's like my favorite thing to do. What is your favorite flavor of cake? Thank you for the non sequitur question. Lemon. I love lemon cake. I like cake. Like, I will eat a cake. Whatever cake you got, I will eat. The lemon is my favorite. I have been asked what my next bustle dress is going to be, and also what my plans are for 2023. So I will make a video about my 2023 plans. Like, that's the first video I put out every year, so I'm definitely going to do that. So you're going to hear all about that. But I will leak this one. So I'm going to a ball in March with a ton of other people. It's going to be in Chicago. It's great. It's a La Belle Epoque ball. So anything from 1870 to 1911, 12, somewhere in there. So I will be making a Victorian ball gown for that. So that's going to be the next thing that's going to go on the bustle dress. I am also going to probably be making a new corset for that, because I have a pattern that I got from Clockwork Fairy. She did it to my exact measurements, and I would love a new corset, so I'm going to try that one. I don't know if it's going to be the corset or not, but I'm definitely going to try and make that first. So I'm excited. I've never made a ball gown before. Like, all of my bustle dresses that I've ever made are like jacket, day wear, walking bustles, stuff like that, visiting bustles. I'm very excited about making one. I don't know how this is gonna go, but we're gonna see. I don't attend balls frequently, but I'm gonna go to 2 this year. One of them is Victorian, so that's gonna be the next one. I have many questions about how I make friends in the costuming community, how I met so many YouTubers, how I know so many people, blah, blah, blah. And what I'm gonna tell you is the simple answer, and it's not hard at all. I just talk to people. That is all I do. I go on Instagram and I talk to people on DMs. If you're not on Instagram, that makes things harder. It just does. So it's much easier to slide into someone's DMs after leaving several comments and telling and reposting their work and showing general support, following them, etc. Then you can talk to them, frequently make lots of friends. I also do videos on my channel, or I used to, called 20 Questions, where I would invite people onto my channel to do the 20 Questions challenge, and it actually helped me get to know a lot of people that I didn't really know very well, so that was really cool. I hosted a costuming convention on COVID back in 2020, so that helped me meet a lot of people. I'm an outgoing person. So if you're asking this and you're an introvert, the true answer is that I'm just an extrovert, and this is like what I do. So I talk to people. How did I meet so many YouTubers? I met YouTubers, a lot of them, before they were YouTubers. We were just friends, including and up to someone asked about Bernadette. So like I met her. I mean, she did have a channel, but she had like 900 subscribers, so she had not blown up. That was not a thing. I don't even think she thought it was going to be a thing. And I also meet friends through other friends. So, you know, I made friends with some people because I went to a few different parties that were hosted by other costumers. I make friends all the time just because I show up to things that people ask me to show up to. So that's really the simple answer, and it's probably the most like answer to people. It's just I put myself out there a lot. Like I talk to people on their channels, I talk to people on Instagram, I talk to people in person. I'm engaged, I'm supportive, I'm a cheerleader, so that helps me meet people. If you want to meet people, do that same thing. I have people that I've met in my DMs that have DM'd me that are my friends now because they DM'd me and or came up to me at a convention or something, and I encouraged them to have a YouTube channel, and now they have YouTube channels. So like that's also happened. So we do respond to people who are supportive and nice and kind and not weird, and you know, all of that, like people on the internet. So if you want to be part of a community, just make yourself part of a community. Like be part of the community, just engage and cheerlead and support and be kind and talk to people, put yourself out there. And it sucks if you're an introvert. I get it. I really do. This is a fun question. If you could travel through time in a Doctor Who kind of way, would you go forward or backwards, and to when? So this was a question on my 20 questions and everybody answered backwards. I never said that you could go forward or backwards. I just said if you could time travel to anywhere, where would you go, right? And I just presented it as like you have all options available to you. I would go forward. I guess I'm inspired by Back to the Future because I kind of agree that like no more than maybe 30 years. Also, this is like a secret like calming mechanism for one of my anxieties. I'm going to tell you guys one of my biggest fears in life, and I never thought I would admit this on the internet, but my fears are because I'm an only child, so I don't have any brothers and sisters. My husband is an only child and we have no children. I am very afraid of what my life will be like in like 30 years. Like I don't know what the environmental disasters will be like. I don't know if I will have enough money. I don't know what inflation will happen, you know, like I don't know if I'll have a good home. Like I just don't know, and I don't have kids or brothers or sisters or family members because our family is like a bunch of onlys. So I don't have a lot of that for a support network. I do have a lot of friends, so I do have solace in that, but like my friends are not going to let me just fall through the cracks. So I'm not like, this is an anxiety, so it's irrational, right? We all know that. My irrational fear is like, what will happen to me? Will I be fighting water wars in California? Like what's gonna happen? So now that I've told you that, the time travel question comes into play because I could time travel 30 years ahead and see what the situation was, even if I don't see myself. Like I would obviously avoid myself because there's like paradoxes and whatever, to see what the situation was in the world and if everything's okay and whatever, so that maybe I could plan a little bit better, you know, about what I'm gonna do. So like if I see there's water wars going on, I could move, if, you know, whatever the things are. But it would be a soothing thing to my soul if I could just peek forward for like 20 minutes, just have a look, see what the lay of the land is, find out what the economic situation is, all that kind of stuff. What stocks should I put money into? I am now Biff. But I think 30 years is good and I would go forward. So most people are like, I would go back to Ask Joan of Arc, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, no, man, I have a self-centered answer. Many questions about Jantober. I talked about this in a previous video, so if you missed it, let me explain it to you. Because I was on that cruise and I was sewing for that, and the cat situation, all the stuff happened, right? So like I feel like I kind of missed out on October. Like I did not get my Halloween feel-good vibes on. So a bunch of my friends also felt that way, and one of them in particular is like, what if we do Jantober? So that's like largely on Instagram, but I will carry it over into here. I have a little secret for you guys. It is not just Jantober for me. I'm gonna try to do like Halloween stuff all year. I want to make witchy things. I want to do witchy photo shoots. I want to do spooky things. I want to learn to take way better photos so that I can get cool photos for Instagram and for here. I would like to film better. Like, I have all these aspirations for next year that are involved around me getting my fall vibes on when it is hot. It is hot in California starting in, like, I don't know, May, like maybe June. It just starts being unreasonably hot until like basically the middle of October. So, and I hate that part. Like, if I could hibernate, I would hibernate through summer. My husband and I were talking about this today. He's like, you would just go to sleep in the springtime and wake up in the fall. And I'm like, absolutely. Put a fan on me. Let me just sleep through that. So, I'm not planning on just doing Tantober, just so we're all clear. The plans for that are largely on Instagram, and it's largely like photo prompts. I don't actually know how she's doing it. I should ask her because it's late in December. It'd probably be good to know. Otherwise, if I don't have her prompts, I'm just gonna try to do some spoopy stuff if I can, like fun. And I'll, you know, I have, for those of you who don't know, who are on Instagram, there's a thing called stories where you can see people's like constant updates from the day. And I'm on stories a lot more than I am on Instagram. Like, I post to Instagram like once or twice a month. Like, it's super slow. But I am in stories all the time. So, and I'm posting stuff even right now that is Halloween related. Halloween with Christmas, so like black Christmas trees with little fun black cats and cute little bat ornaments and stuff. All kinds of stuff. It's like kind of spooky all the time. So it's mostly over there, but I will be doing some stuff on my channel to support that because I will need costumes and stuff to wear. So I am very excited about that. I do want those purple stays. I want them. So we'll see about that as well. So this person asks, am I a bad person for gaslighting my boss about my new tattoos? I.e., I'm sure I told you about them. No, not at all. I feel like if your boss is giving you crap about your tattoos, no, gaslight away. Yeah. My friend Raphael asks, how is your hand sewing going now? Do you ever reach that like Zen relaxation point with it, etc., etc., etc.? So as I alluded to earlier, I, you know, hated hand sewing. I'm getting better at it. I'm not really getting that much faster. I've gotten sort of like more accustomed to it, I think is the better phrase to use. Like, I am used to doing it now, so I don't just despise it. It's just, it takes forever. I have not gotten very much faster. So do I reach a Zen state with it? I guess. I can't do it without looking for sure. Like, I am definitely focused on it. So I listen to an audiobook or I watch a movie I've already seen before, so I don't have to look at it at all, kind of thing. There's a lot of like, you know, Marvel movies going on all the time, or I think Gilmore Girls probably has a rewatch coming up at some point. Or if I'm making something to a specific character, I will watch all that character stuff. When I made Iron Man, I watched all of the Iron Man movies for sure, and then I watched every other Marvel movie that was out at the time. So that is a normal thing for me. I don't love it though. I want to love it. I'm gonna keep doing it until I love it. I will give you this little nugget. When I was on that trip with Gigi across the country, I did some sewing on a pirate shirt, which means I'm gonna have a video for you that is like well over 6 months in the making, because I did a little bit then and I did a little bit another time, and I have 2 videos actually that I was working on throughout this entire back half of the year that I've just been filming little chunks here and there, and it's not enough to put in a weekly vlog at all. So yeah. Anyway, I did want to sew, hand sew. I was on the road, so I was like, oh, I could do a little hand sewing, that might be nice. And then I did it for a little while, and I was like, it's not that nice, and I put it down. But I didn't have the urge to do that, so maybe it's getting better, maybe. All right, here's the most serious question I got. Have you ever been homeless? So the answer is mostly no, and I don't think it would be possible in a lot of ways. I mean, I'm sure it's possible, but like, it'd be very unlikely that I would ever become homeless because I have such a big support net of friends that would take care of me. And like my mom, and you know, my husband would not let that happen, etc. So, and I do understand that like crashing on someone's couch still counts as homelessness. So I think my friends would actually bind together to get me an actual home somehow. I think that would go down. I think there would be like some sort of, you know, mother-in-law cottage built or something would go down to make that happen. So I don't think it's probable that that would happen to me, but when I was young, when my mom divorced my father, I think I was one, maybe almost two. They got divorced and we did not have enough money. We were super poor probably until I was in high school. We didn't have very much money at all. Like to the point where I shared a room with my mom until I was, I think 10, 11, something like that. I was pretty old by the time I got my own space. So, you know, I have been in a place where I had to live with my grandparents. We had to move in with them for quite some time because we didn't have money for housing, and that's not really the same as homeless though in my book, because we were still going to like a home, like my mom considered it home, so I could. So the answer is not no, not really. So I hope that answers your question. I am dying to know why you asked that question and like what prompted that, etc., etc. I feel really blessed in my life. I'm super fortunate. I am privileged AF for like so many reasons. And I feel like the fact that I truly believe that it would be really difficult for me to become homeless, I feel like that question is like loaded a little bit. And so I'm like, what is it loaded with? So if you're the person who asked this question, leave me a comment down below or send me a DM because you asked it on Instagram. So I would love to know what your motivation is. Maybe I'll ask you. We'll see. Would I work at Twitter in its current state? No. I wouldn't work at Twitter not in its current state. No, absolutely not. Twitter is a hive of like villainy and press. Yeah, which I'm not saying aren't villainy, but you know, yeah. So I also, that place is in San Francisco. I'm not gonna do that commute. Absolutely not. No. I do not have to do that, and I would not do that. I would almost rather work at like I used to work at Subway, so I'd rather work at Subway again. Like Subway is a great job actually. You get fed and also like it's not that high pressure. Yeah. My friend Rick says "Will ver Vigs?" and the answer to that is maybe. What is your favorite dinosaur? I am partial to like a Triceratops or a Stegosaurus, probably a Triceratops. I just think they're fun. They look fun. They look like they can just like ram through stuff. So yeah, I do enjoy that. I always said that like my avatar, my power animal was a rhinoceros. Rhinoceroses apparently run towards fire to help stomp it out. So that seems like something I would do. So, you know, Triceratops is kind of like a rhinoceros, so I think that it's probably Triceratops. Otherwise, it's like, it's not a dinosaur. I got schooled the other day by an 8-year-old. Whew. I was talking about plesiosaurs, and I was promptly told that those were not dinosaurs. And I'm like, all right, look, Pluto's a planet, plesiosaurs are dinosaurs. Like, I'm old, let me live this life. Someone asked what I've been sewing since I got back from the UK. I have been sewing my Williamsburg Amalia jacket. It is largely done. I need to put the straps on and then fit some sleeves, sew them in, and I'm pretty much done. Have I avoided this for an entire month? Yes. Yes, I have. I'm like, do I have the energy for sleeves right now? No, I don't. So I'm just not going to do that. So I did do all the back seaming on it. All the straight seams are all done. Everything that needs to get stitched down so far is stitched down. I really need like a buddy to help me fit those straps though, so we're gonna wait till after Christmas and then work on that. But there's a video, that's the other video that I've been working on for 6 months. I cut that to take with me on the road with Gigi. And that was July 4th week, or the week, I don't even know. It was sometime around July 4th when we went cross country. I cut that jacket out and took it with me on that trip. So I've been working on this video since the dawn of time. All right, I'm gonna read this one because it's like long. When you use plastic whalebone for 18th century stays, what size did you use? I spend an inordinate amount of time and sometimes don't start projects because I get stuck on, well, many things, but playing with some historic projects. I get stuck on details. Like, would I prefer 4mm or 6mm? Or this website only has 7mm, another 5mm, and how do I know what width or thickness is best for this or that project? Especially where there's not a boning or historical thread store where I can go see or touch all of them and then choose. It's all internet shopping. Click, then hope for the best. Okay, so my answer to that is you are in your head too much. So essentially what I would do is if you can get samples of all of them, get them all sent to your house so you just have them forever, label them, and write them down so you can always do your sample check. That's how I would do it. when I had to make my stays, I just ordered some boning. Like I ordered it from, I think I ordered it from Burnley and Trowbridge. I just ordered a whole reel of it. I think it was 6mm, maybe it was 7, no, it's probably 6. I have another class that specified that I need some 7mm and some 5mm, so that's what I ordered. I just ordered some. Whatever it is gonna be fine. Like honestly, don't get stuck on that. Like this is a place where you're allowing your brain to like cycle on something that honestly probably doesn't matter at all, because if it's too thin, you're just gonna double it up. If it's too thick, you're just gonna make your boning channels wider. So like, it doesn't really matter that much. Like the difference between 5 and 6 is not enough. 6 and 7 isn't enough. 4 to 7 is a kind of a bigger deal, but like at that point, just look at your ruler and be like, well, that's way too big, or whoa, that's way too small. 4mm is a little small. So I would say just order some. Just order some and make your thing. Like, as I always say, do the thing. Just do it. Do not get in your head about it. Do not get stuck. Also, if you're at the point in your sewing where you don't know which of these things you want, it's because you haven't made enough stuff yet, probably, to just know, you know, organically what you need, which means you should just make stuff. Just keep making stuff. It's not the only pair of stays you're ever gonna make in your life. You will immediately become dissatisfied with them for some reason and want another pair. That's always the way it is. You'll enjoy them for like a year and then be like, you know, I could use another pair of stays that has a little bit more boning, or man, I put too much boning in this, so I need to take off the binding and pull some boning out. Like you will do these things. So like, it's not the last thing you're ever gonna make. This thing is never gonna be perfect anyway. Just order some. Just do the thing. What is the skill you want to learn, and what is the improbable skill that you wish you could learn? Okay, so the skill that I want to learn is sewing knits. This seems completely easy and like a thing people do. So I also would like to make myself my own t-shirts. That sounds like fun. Then I could learn to screen print and I could really make myself my own t-shirts. My joy in life could be fulfilled with my own t-shirt printing situation. What is the most improbable skill that I would like to learn? I would love to learn woodworking. I've said this many times. I think that woodworking is kind of the most amazing thing. Like, it just seems like such a great apocalypse skill. I would also like to learn weaving. That's not that improbable. It's just like time consuming, and I'm gonna get there. I have a friend who has a loom, who's gonna bring it over. We're gonna get going on something. I'm gonna make a tea towel or whatever to try to like figure out my life. But then we'll see if that takes off in my life. But those are my skills that I would like to learn. How do you store costumes in a limited space? Oh, friend, that is the question of a lifetime. Okay, so I have the world's smallest closet in here. It's like 4 feet big. And then on the other side where the guest room is, I also have the same closet. I had to use both of them for costumes and jackets and stuff like that. But honestly, if I have like a dress or something, I put it in there too. So even if it's like not a costumey dress, that's not great. And I also have bins that go under beds in our house. I also have bins that go in my garage. At least 3 of our walls have like racks, like floor to ceiling racks in the garage that are put, you know, just giant, whatever those are, 50-gallon, I don't know, big, you get them at Target bins. I just fill those up. So that is how I do storage in a limited space. I also give away a lot of stuff. Like honestly, I cull constantly. If I have acquired some new bunch of fabrics like I have right now that I cannot store because I do not have space for them, I will have to call out other fabrics. Like, you just have to set limits on yourself. My costume closet is full. There's not enough room for more stuff. I need more room for stuff. So some of those costumes are gonna have to go. I have friends who want some of those costumes, and I am happily gonna send those friends those costumes. In fact, I've been sitting on that for like a month now, and I need to do that. I'm so sorry if you're one of the people. I have other costumes that I'll probably list on Instagram. I don't really believe in selling my costumes yet because I don't think I'm, like, they're pretty on the inside and they're well made and stuff, but like, hey. Anyway, I'm gonna like try to offload them. If not, I will donate them to like somewhere where people might want costumes. I don't know. We'll figure that out. You gotta cull. You gotta keep your collection not huge. You gotta have only the costumes that you wear / you intend to wear. If there's something that's old that you're not wearing ever anymore and you're just like, eh, when you look at it, get rid of it. Do whatever you have to do with it. Turn it into cabbage. try not to put it in a landfill. That is what I will say. Try to donate it, try to give it away, try to sell it, try to do something with it, but like, do not let it take up the space that it's not going to use. I have a bunch of shoes that I don't ever wear either that I'm also probably going to sell off. Like American Duchess, brand new, never worn shoes. So keep your eye on my Instagram because that might happen. This is why you should go into stories, because I post stuff in stories. So yeah, like, don't buy stuff you don't need. There was another person on here who asked what my biggest costuming purchase regret was. I don't know. Like, part of me is like my thread cabinet, because it just sits on my table. I use my thread cabinet though. I love it. I think it's so beautiful. It just does not fit in this room. I do not need any recommendations on where to put it, people. I hate that it sits on my table. I just hate that. But you know what? Don't care. Still want my thread cabinet, so it's not a regret. But my biggest regret is like buying things that aren't in my wheelhouse, slash I don't really want to wear. Like, I have all these 1850s bonnets that are Victorian. Why? I don't like 1850s. I'm not gonna make 1850s dresses. That's not my jam. I don't like most things about that. I should just get rid of those. I bought them largely because people like needed cash and were selling off their stuff, and I was trying to help out. I should have just sent them the money. That is my takeaway from that, is just be like, hey, I'm just gonna PayPal you $100. Like, here, get your cat fixed, or whatever it is that you're raising money for, but like, please do not send me this hat. So I have a bunch of stuff that is like that probably needs to go. It will go eventually when I like get up the nerve to do it. So yeah. Someone is asking me about needle preferences and thread preferences for my machine. Like, not hand sewing, but that. So what I will say is I like a Microtex needle a lot because they don't snag very often, so I will use that. I usually use like a 70 or 80 needle. I don't know what the other number is that matches that, but someone on here will comment, I'm sure. Thread. If I'm sewing something that is cotton, I will try to use cotton. If I'm sewing something that's linen, I will try to use linen. You can't thread this kind of machine with linen thread though, so then I will use, if I'm going to do it on my machine, I will use cotton thread on linen because that's the best. It's also best if you're going to like dye it to have a similarly absorbing thing. But honestly, half the time the stuff I'm making is so like ridiculously colored or whatever that the thread I have is polyester, and there are good reasons to use polyester thread. Like, there are, like, it is a very hard wearing thread. It's not going to break easily. It's not going to get tangled easily. It is going to last the test of time. So it depends on your like needs for historical accuracy. If I'm making like a silk bustle gown and I can't find silk thread in the color that I am going to make this silk gown with, I am going to use polyester because that comes in every color. Like, you can get it in any color you want, like down to like the shade. So I guess I'm not that fussy about it. If I'm not going to dye the thing and I can't get it in the preferred material, I'm just going to use poly. I'm not that fussed about it. Gutermann silk thread is the one that you can use in your machine. I think Tire, it's T-I-R-E, but it's Japanese. I think it's Tire. Thread is also great, but you have to know somebody essentially to get that thread. It's really hard to get, like, as you're, like, because you kind of have to order it in a wholesale format. So, like, I get it because my friend Christine gets it. You can put that in your machine for sure. But the thing about Gutermann silk threads is it's made from short strands of silk that are, like, twisted together instead of long strands of silk. So it's, like, slightly less good quality. It goes through the machine. So I'll just use it. Like, if I can find a match that's a Gutermann silk, yes, let's do that. So that's what's what with the thread situation. I'm not that fussed about it. I kind of use whatever needle I need / can, or what's recommended. Like, if I'm gonna sew with denim or something like that, I'm obviously gonna go to a heavier needle just because it's better and it won't break as much. So I just sort of like obey commands that are in my couture sewing books, stuff like that. So I'm not as fussed as some people are. I don't know that it matters. My grandmother taught all of those things and was like, you know what, if you have to use poly, use poly. You can also get cotton wrapped poly. That's a great option, especially if you're gonna dye something, because the cotton will take up the color and the poly's in the middle. So it's a good like mid-range solution because it's strong. It's not gonna break. It's gonna hold up to the test of time. And also it's cotton on the outside. What unconventional materials have you used before or want to use? What would you like to play with? I would love to learn how to sew vinyl. I think that would be fun. I think that would open up like a ton of cosplay options. That sounds hot and sweaty. We'll see if I encounter something that requires me to do vinyl soon, but like that would be fun. Here's another serious one. Have you ever lost a friendship in the costuming community because of others' bigoted views? Whoo, doggy. Yes. Yes, I have. A couple of them were really public. So if you know, you know. And if you don't, you don't. But they were out there for everybody to see. I've actually lost a lot of people behind the scenes, but I've also talked to a lot of people about things that they've done or said. For people who don't know, I do a lot of like activism work on Instagram in my stories. So if you go over there, you might see stuff about that too, like Black Lives Matter and wear your mask, etc. You know, things that you've heard on this channel, just it happens over there a little bit more frequently. One of the things I do on Instagram is if I see someone who has done something that's like kind of catastrophically stupid, I will slide into their DMs and talk to them behind the scenes about like, are you sure you meant to say that? This is how it's being read. And they will of course have like a, that's not what I meant, blah, 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 at me, and I'm like, okay. So let's talk about how we can fix this and how you could not step in this hole again, kind of thing. So I think there's a lot of people that I have become better friends with because of their bigoted views or their bigoted comment or whatever that I've like drawn over from the dark side kind of thing. But yeah, there have been a number of people who I have lost that were very, very good friends of mine that I had no idea that they had these views, but they did. So that sucked. Thanks for the question. Do you know the name of Morgan Donner's new cat? Yes. Yes, I do. What are your favorite fabric stores? Happily, I have this question already answered for you. There is a playlist of sort of like gift guide things that I put a bunch of fabric stores into. I will put that up here and down below for you. There is also a link which I will put down below for you that is a link to my Notion board. It's called Fabric Costume Supplies Stores. Seems obvious. It has like everything that's basically in those videos and more stuff that I've added since, with a link in Instagram, hopefully what they are, you know, if it's fabric, if it's whatever, so that you can go through that. I will put that link down below for you if you guys want to go check that out. You can feel free to like root around in there. It's just a Notion board. It will not hurt you. Last question, and a question of love. What is the thing that I love most about being on YouTube? And it's great. People always ask me what sucks about being on YouTube, and I'm like, I got a list for you. But what do I love about it? It's like you guys. My comment section is like the sweetest people. I love you guys. You always leave the most supportive and loving comments. I did also want to mention here, I did not answer comments or do anything with the comments on my Keanu video or the trip video where I was like, I got COVID. I'm very sorry about that. I will answer those comments, either like heart tag them or like answer them if there were questions or whatever soon. I was just like in not a mental state to like, even though I read them, like your love on especially the Keanu video, unprecedented amount of just like the sweetest, kindest, most loving comments. So good. Overwhelmed me. Every time I started reading them, I just started crying. So like, it was a good cry. It was a loving cry. Like I was happy to cry. It helped me grieve. Like it did all the things it was supposed to do. I just like couldn't react to them out to you guys back again. So you should see that happening at some point soon. But anyway, my comment section is the thing I love most about being on YouTube. Like, I love the friends that I've made by being a YouTuber. Like, that's great. I love that. It's one of my favorite things. But like, you guys are honestly my favorite thing about it. Every time I put up a video, you guys are awesome. You tell me what your lives are like. You ask me questions. You are interactive. It's really great. Like, I just love that part of it. I love how when I say, if you're new here, which I'm saying to you all now, right, also, if you're new here, go introduce yourself and tell me what you're into and stuff, because like I just like learning who you are and like why you're here and like what you're into and what your hobbies are and stuff. So that's like one of my favorite things in the whole world. Every time I go to my comments and I just read like a barrage of like people who are maybe even going through it but still being like happy and positive, it just like makes my heart 3 times bigger. Doesn't fit my chest anymore. Occasionally I'll just start crying because I'm like, these people are so awesome. My husband's just like, you are so emotional. Yeah, kind of. So yeah, I think that's the thing that I love the most about my YouTube channel, is just getting to interact with like other humans out there who are into what I'm into, or you know, people who are new to this or who don't even do this but watch my videos anyway. Like, thank you. That's awesome. Thank you for watching. I hope they're entertaining to you. I hope you have a good time here. I hope I chill you out. I hope I rev you up. I hope I do whatever it is you are looking for from this channel. So yeah. All right, I feel like that's a long Q&A video for you guys. Thank you so much for watching this. If you got to this part, leave a comment that says to the end, and then if you want to tell me what you're up to, what your Christmas plans are, what your Hanukkah plans are, what your Yule plans are. There's like 22 holidays this year in December. They're all awesome. So whatever your plans are, let me know. I am gonna go to my friend's house on Christmas Day because they celebrate Christmas, and we're gonna enjoy that. I'm gonna go to another friend's house for Hanukkah one night because they celebrate that, and I have another friend who celebrates Yule, so we are gonna go to her house and do a Yule log, which should be super fun. I'm very excited about all of it. It's gonna be a party. Anyway, thank you for all your questions. It was so like thoughtful and nice of you guys to ask me stuff. I love doing Q&A videos. They're nice and fun, they're easy, they're fun to edit, so thank you very much. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great end to 2022, and if you're not, then 2023 is right around the corner for you so that you can just refresh. I have no idea why we think it bouncing from 1 second to literally 1 other second resets everything, but for some reason we all do think that, and I think that's great. Having like a mental reset is just nice, so looking forward to that. I will be putting out at least the 2023 video, right? About what my plans are for that, but then also hopefully this Williamsburg jacket will be done soon because I want this thing done and moved out of my life so I can start my corset. That would be the best thing. Otherwise I'm just gonna start my corset and film a video on that and give you that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, I love you guys very much. You're all very awesome. I hope you're having a great end of year. Leave me comments down below. Oh yeah, like and subscribe. Always like and subscribe. All your people that you follow on YouTube, just subscribe to their channel. I know that like Xenials and Alphas, I guess, don't subscribe, and just subscribe. It really actually does help us. And hitting the like button helps us too. It makes us like very happy and it increases engagement. Thank you. Love you guys. Bye.